What's up, everybody? Yes, I know I did say I was taking a little break, but at the same time, though, even though I'm taking a break, I'm still playing reviews, and this is probably going to be my only review this week. Next week, I'm still going to do my continuous reviews, at least two reviews a week. I'm still trying to finish out these week quests. Other than that, shout out Everett Harding. You know who you are. The album I want to review today is the Dogg Pound's Dog Food, released in 1995 on Death Row under Interscope. You guys should know who the Dogg Pound are. Basically, Corrupt and Daz, or aka Dat Digga Daz, aka Dad Del Wigger. Yeah. So all of a sudden, like, they got together. You know, originally these guys were like solo artists. But at the same time, like, they heard the chemistry between those two was impeccable, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, so they got together and like, they signed to Death Row Records. And so, their first appearances on Wax was like, I believe, of course, it was Dr. Dre's The Chronic. Yeah, so like, and so that they signed to Death Row Records and all that. And those two were really featured heavily in, like, Death Row released like the Doggy Style, I believe the Above the Rim soundtrack, and they also appeared on MC Hammer's what was that album? The one he dropped in 1994, the Funky Headhunter, which that album, I listened to that album, and believe it or not, in my opinion, that's like my favorite album from him. And I'm not even a big MC Hammer fan. That's the thing about it. Other than that, yeah, one thing about this is, one thing I love about the Dogg Pound is like the chemistry between Corrupt and Daz. Like, together they were like at the time very, very dope. Like, Daz, he always had like that smooth delivery with his production and rapping. Excuse me one minute, I'm trying to change this. Yeah, so Daz, he always was known for like his smooth, kind of like funky production, where Corrupt was known for like his rapid, fast delivery. And that's another thing about Corrupt, though. He's basically, you know, one of the most illest lyricists to ever come out from the West Coast. You can tell he was really influenced by like Rakim, a little bit. You can tell he's a little influenced by KRS-One too. And you know, from 1993 to like around 2000, 2001, Corrupt was like one of my best MCs from the West Coast. What the fuck is wrong with this shit? Oh my. Sorry about that. I gotta get a new iPod up. Anyway, yeah, like, if you don't believe me, check out his album, The Streets Is a Mother. Classic album. I need to get my hands on that album, though. Other than that, 1995, they came out with this album. Singles I was known for, it actually came out with about only two singles, which are, Let's Play House and New York, New York. And when this album first came out, this was a very controversial album, because it was like, you know, around that 1994, 1995, a lot of gangster rap releases, like, controversial, you know. And one album in particular, Thug Life, you know, Thug Life's first album, you know, the group Tupac assembled, they actually had to re-record that album because, you know, if I'm not mistaken, the parent label of that, I think it was Interscope, I don't know. I think because, like, they were under fire and all that, you know. And so the Dogg Pound, Dog's Food, that album was no exception, because of the fact that, A, it was under Death Row Records, and You guys should know the story about Death Row Records. You know, basically one of the most controversial record labels at the time, though. And B, you know, they were talking about a lot of stuff like murder, and this was released around the time the East Coast, West Coast beef was getting intact. Plus, Death Row Records already having beef with Ruthless Records. I'm gonna get into that in a minute. But other than that, let me get to the production. Producers on this include Daz, DJ Pooh, Superfly, Dr. Dre, who is executive producer, by the way, DJ Quick, uncredited, Emmanuel Porkchop Dean, Dave Swain, Overdose, and Suge Knight, who is another executive producer. And this, in my opinion, has some of Daz's best beats, because Daz, in my opinion, he doesn't get the credit he deserves. And you know, cause like, you know, there's actually some controversy. Well, like, a lot of people have said that Daz actually produced a lot of joints from the Dr. Dre's The Chronic album. I don't even know the whole story between that. If somebody knows the story, post a link in the comments, because a lot of people say that Dr. Dre does not produce a lot of his beats. And I don't really know the whole story behind that, so yeah. Other than that, guest appearances include Dr. Dre, Prince Ital Joe, Nancy Fletcher, Big Pimpin' Dummin', Snoop Doggy Dogg, Val Young, South Central. I don't know who some of these people are. Michelle, hands down. I talked about her first album, I believe, like over a month ago. Very dope, very good album, by the way. Nate Dogg, rest in peace. Lady of Rage, another underrated female MC. Basically, you know, she surprisingly, she should have a much more bigger career, but you know how that shit goes. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, yes, that Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, you know, you guys should know who they are. They produced for a lot of people, you know. I think they were from the group The Time, and they were best known for producing for people like Janet Jackson. Yeah, because they did a lot of shit for Janet Jackson, and I believe if I'm not mistaken, I think they produced for like Bobby Brown. But yeah, if you loved R&B back in like the late 80s, early to mid 90s, they were all over the place. So yeah, Trey D and Trey D too. A lot of the songs, I'm not gonna really talk about all the songs here because most of them talk about the same subject matter. So it would be a waste of time for me to talk about every song because like same subject matter. But at the same time, I want to talk about like the most notable songs, like my favorite songs all from the album. And this is actually probably the first time I actually did an album where I don't talk about all the songs. So bear with me, okay? Alright. Track number 2, which is Dogg Pound Gangsters. Hold on, where is that? Yeah, track number 2, Dogg Pound Gangsters. Very dope way. Very dope way to start off an album. He sets the whole tone of the album. That song was notarized because of the fact that Corrupt, he made this one line that says, "Ain't got no love for the hoes in Harmony," which you guys should know Bone Thugs and Harmony. And so being that Bone Thugs and Harmony where signed to Ruthless Records, and Ruthless Records was owned by Eazy-E. Eazy and Dr. Dre was beefing. It was notable that the fact that a lot of Death Row cats were throwing shots at Ruthless cats. Well, it was like vice versa too. So very dope way to start the song. Track number 4, New York, New York. Basically my favorite song off the album. That song was actually a very controversial song when it came out too, because it was kind of like a diss to like the East Coast and all that. And if you seen the video, they have like these scenes where like I forgot to mention 1994 and the Murder Was the Case soundtrack. The Dogg actually made this song called "What Would You Do," where they just like, it was like a Ruthless Records diss. So I forgot to mention that. Check it out. Actually, a very good diss song, by the way. Other than that, if you've seen the video for the song "New York, New York," you would notice that like they were like crushing down landmarks in New York, like Corrupt, Daz, and Snoop Dogg, who was actually featured. I think Snoop was actually featured on the song too. And a lot of East Coast heads were like, "Yo, what the fuck are they doing?" Like, and like a lot of people caught that as like disrespect to New York. And it was the video. Like the video was like a very. It's kind of like a very like normal video where you would see like in West Coast, you know, and they were questioning on like building all that. So it was a very crazy vid. Other than that, another trivia I found out about this, the beat, DJ Pooh, I think he was the one that made the beat, and the instrumental, the beat was actually used first for like this one commercial by Biggie, for Cent ID's commercial, and I don't know the whole stuff, because like a lot of people kind of thought that was like a diss to Biggie, because you know Biggie, everyone knows Biggie is, and like he was getting like a lot of flack from like a lot of artists around that time. So basically, I don't know if DJ Pooh produced the beat for Biggie or the Dogg Pound first. I don't really know the whole story between that, but I'm gonna post a link to the commercial of that. Other than that, another thing too. Like 1 year, I think 1 year after the song was released, Capone and Noriega, Tragedy Gaddafi, and Mobb Deep, they had a song called "LA LA," which I mentioned this like when I did the review on the War Report like last year, and that was actually another diss song. Basically, yeah, that was like a diss song to them, and I think like yeah, that was like that song came out in 1996. So yeah, that was a very huge moment, not only for the album, for Capone and Noriega too. Other than that, yeah, New York, New York, basically my favorite song off the whole album. Corrupt, he stole the show. He did his thing on that album, on that song. What's the next song I'm talking about? Smooth, featuring Snoop Dogg and Val Young. Very good song right there. Very underrated song, by the way. Let's Play House. Let's Play House. Basically, that song features Nate Dogg, Michelet. Nate Dogg, Michelet, Snoop, and Dr. Dre. Yeah, that song was one of my favorite songs. Like, I know a lot of people have heard. I know a lot of people recognize that song these days. I think YG covered that song. I think last year he covered that song, and that's why everybody knows that song now. But at the same time, though, that's another thing about a lot of hip hop fans today. When a certain artist covers like a certain song or pays homage to a certain song, a lot of hip hop heads or music fans, they'll be like, "Oh, well, I don't like this old ass version. I like the new version." But how can you like the new version when you gotta respect that the old version came out first, you know? But that's another video for a different day. A little trivia about that song. Warren G, he was actually supposed to have a verse on that song, but it didn't really come through. So there's like his verse actually on YouTube, but it's not like the best of quality though. And I love that beat, like dun 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 dun. Love that beat to that song. Basically one of my favorite songs off the album. Has like that like house party kind of like vintage house parties theme to it, you know. Very dope song. I Don't Want to Dream About Getting Paid. That's another interesting song right there too. I Don't Have to Dream About Getting Paid featuring Nate Dogg. That was actually a remake of the track by 213 with Snoop, Nate Dogg, and Warren G. And Nate Dogg, he actually appeared on the chorus of the song, but that version is like very hard to come by. Very, very good song. I love that song right there. Once again, Corrupt does his thing, you know. And I'm gonna talk about a couple more songs like Reality. That's another good song. Big Pimpin' 2. Yeah. You know, that's all the songs I'm gonna talk about, cause like I said before, it has kind of like has the same subject matter to it, the whole album. But this album is a very, very dope album. I love this album. Like it was like it kind of like swept under the rug to all the controversy of the album. And one thing about this album, in my opinion, this is like my only favorite album from the Dogg Pound, because the other albums I was not really feeling that much. I don't know why. I just wasn't feeling it. Maybe I should give another listen. But yeah, like the Dogg Pound, the Dog Food is a highly recommendable album if you're a fan of like Death Row Records from the golden era, like 1992 to 1996. Those were like the best years of Death Row. And if you're a fan of like Daz's production, check out that album right there. But other than that, that's all I want to talk about the album. Sorry to keep this review short. Like, I'm definitely going to do more reviews next week. Stay tuned for more. Peace.